You know, I just feel really bad for PK Subban. I mean, he doesn't even care about the money. He just wants to play hockey.
I know, it's awful.
You're not even signing him.
I know.
Alright, well, welcome to Hockey Talks.
How you guys doing?
Yeah, I'm Tyler Sawatzky.
And I'm Jeremy Myer. Back for another episode on our Saturday night.
That's right. Alright, let's get right to it. The first thing we're going to talk about is, well, what's been lighting up the league. Who's been lighting it up lately?
Patrick Marleau. And
Marleau of the Sharks.
Yeah, 4 consecutive 2-goal games. I mean, there's just no stopping this guy at this point.
No, I mean, he leads the league right now in goals scored with 8.
And points, total points,
yeah.
Also 11.
But what's interesting is until Gaborik got his 2 goals, the second one being an empty netter, he doubled the second place skater in goals.
Quite incredible, actually, yeah.
Marleau has definitely played. Like, he's kind of the focal point right now of this offensive Sharks.
And the thing is, too, you got to talk about it. The Sharks still way up there. I mean, they're just blowing the rest of the league away.
Exactly.
And he's got a great teammate, Joe Thornton, who's playing excellent this season.
That's right. Joe Thornton actually leads the league in assists right now by a decent margin too when it comes to assists. He's tied with Marleau for the league lead in points with 11 points. So, do you think Marleau gets all these goals without the help of Thornton?
I think maybe he scores a few because he is doing well, and that's definitely, you got to give the guys credit. But I mean, there's nothing like having a great playmaker to say, yeah.
That's right. I mean, he's playing with one of the greatest playmakers in the league. That's like separating Daniel Sedin from Henrik Sedin.
Yeah, exactly. It actually does make a lot of sense.
Yes, it would. So you got Patrick Marleau, you got your Joe Thornton, who are just lighting up this league. So what are we seeing from the Sharks now, moving up?
I think one thing they got to do is they got to remain and stay healthy. I mean, if they keep their lineups healthy, you got guys like Joe Pavelski, Logan Couture. I mean, you just have so many good players in this system. As long as their defense stays healthy and Niemi's playing well, you can't beat this team.
Yeah, and Niemi's actually a good point. He just recorded another shutout in their last game. He's got a really good save percentage already. What do you see from Niemi and from their backup? Do you see much use of their backup?
I think when you're in a 48-game season, I know we don't want to use the word sprint, but it is a lot more games and a lot less time.
Yep.
And so that's definitely something where your backup is a little bit more important. So maybe if San Jose were at the trade deadline, pick up a backup goaltender. There are some out there that could be available. But as long as Niemi's healthy and ready to go for the playoffs, it's going to be a tough team to beat.
And if their defense keeps playing this way.
And especially, too, you just put Brent Burns into this defensive mix. I mean, once he's back, I mean, this is going to be one of the best teams in the league.
If their offense keeps playing this way after Burns comes back, this is a scary team.
This is a very scary team.
And I know people have been saying this for like the last 3 years. I mean, they've been 4 years. Yeah. They've been scary like this whole time, but they haven't lived up to expectation.
They never have, and that's the thing. You got to talk about playoffs. And what furthest they've ever been is the Western Conference Finals. Never made a Stanley Cup final yet. So I mean, is this the year? We don't know. But it's definitely something where it's make or break, I think,
exactly.
At this point for the San Jose team.
A lot of people have already written off that their window of opportunity has closed. I mean, look at their record, look at their goals already, look at the few amount of goals they've allowed, that'll shut them up right there.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely some team that is worth respecting at this point.
That's right. Alright, moving on to our next topic. We're going to do a quick analysis of a team. We're going to talk about the Washington Capitals and their 0-3-1 start.
Yeah.
Do we worry?
For me, I've not been a fan of Ovechkin since his past couple seasons. I was really excited about him before he was a captain, but I don't push the panic button quite yet if you're Washington and start blowing everything up yet. But definitely there's time to start being concerned, especially with your goaltending.
And especially with the coach as well. Adam Oates just recently took over this club. I mean, talk about the pressure he's got with an 0-3-1 start now.
Exactly. And especially, too, with how well Bruce Boudreau's doing in Anaheim, that can't be sitting well with you if you're a Washington.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. Something that's interesting about them right now, Alex Ovechkin, and their 4 losses that they already have, they moved Ovechkin to the right wing, something that we saw from Adam Oates in New Jersey with Ilya Kovalchuk.
Yeah, and see, it worked in New Jersey, and the reason, obviously, Adam Oates makes this decision is he says that Ovechkin got too predictable, and a lot of teams would agree with that. Josh Georges of Montreal said when he played him, he was a lot different.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I just don't think is not working for Ovechkin, and we will see him move back to left wing in their next game.
And that was actually just released, that Ovechkin is moving back to the left wing. So I guess Oates has now realized that the same trick doesn't always work twice.
Yeah.
So,
and it's sad though for a guy who's a defensive coach. I mean, they've allowed the second most goals in the NHL.
That's true.
You know, Hopi and Neuwirth have just not gotten the job done.
Yeah. We got to mention they have 8 goals through 4 games. That's an average of 2 goals per game.
Yeah.
Doesn't this look a lot like the Kings of last season?
It does, except just a little less talent. And I think
that's true. And minus the Jonathan Quick.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a good point.
I mean, both Holtby and Neuwirth are below 90% save percentages.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. You have to talk about this is if you're a Washington Capitals fan, you've got to be getting your offense from somewhere, and right now it's just not happening.
It's not coming from Ovechkin.
It's a less than 2-to-1 ratio at this point. They're giving up 2 goals for every goal they score, so this is just not going well this year.
I mean, we talk about the different spectrum right now between the Sharks and the Capitals, and they were both the powerhouses of 3-4 years ago. Even like the Capitals winning their President's Trophy a few years ago, who would have thought they'd be in this position?
Yeah, exactly. And especially, too, because a lot of people are saying rebuild. Some people say trade Ovechkin, but I don't know how you can trade them. Especially when you look at a guy like Roberto Luongo, hasn't been moved yet.
True.
Big money is hard to move in today's league.
It is. And I think it's a little bit more difficult with Ovechkin, because Ovechkin can, at a dime, put up 10 goals in 6 games.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got that.
He is a perfect goal scorer. The problem is, I think the responsibility has just killed this guy.
That's true. I would agree with that. Okay, so that's enough of the Capitals.
Yeah.
I want to get to a topic more personal to me. Let's talk Anaheim Ducks and Vancouver Canucks.
Yes. Pretty embarrassing if you're an Anaheim fan last night.
I would say that too. But I mean, the Canucks got embarrassed in their home opener.
Yeah.
Again, 7-3, but the Canucks just dominated the Ducks, like through and through, in the defensive end, middle zone, offense. There was nowhere the Ducks were getting those loose pucks.
And they were excellent on the power play last night.
That is worth mentioning as well. Mason Raymond puts up 2 goals. Aaron Volpatti puts up the 3rd goal of his career. Each of the Sedins got 2 points. They just lit it up with a 5-0 win. Oh, that's another important thing to mention. Corey Schneider, who got the start in the home opener against Anaheim, when he let in 5 goals and 14 shots, sayonara to that. He put up a 30-plus save shutout.
Yeah, very impressive last night. And it's worth mentioning, both of these teams blew each other out in their home openers. It was actually a 12-18 records for the home teams this season in their home openers. It's the first time since the lockout that there's been a below 500 for home openers.
Yeah, what do we got to say about that for the league with the home advantage? Is it really advantage?
I don't know what it is. I mean, I just think, early on, I think an example of it is when you win at home, it's typically because you get good goaltending and you play good defense, and we haven't seen a lot of defense this season so far. We've seen some really high-scoring games like tonight, Philly beating Florida 7-1, so...
Yeah,
and out there.
Like... In previous years, seeing a 7-1, I mean, you might see that every few days. We're seeing this like every night, a blowout or 2.
We're seeing a lot of goal scoring, and it's just something like Ottawa and Tampa Bay. I mean, we were mentioning Ottawa was getting going, but Tampa Bay really tore it into them and scored a lot.
I mean, it's making this league very unpredictable. I mean, we weren't expected to predict what would be held in the 48-game season, but... I mean, this is just kind of surprising people. It's firewagon hockey.
It is, and it's kind of exciting because, especially in the high-paced game, like this is such a fast game, and I think if you're looking at a team, teams to look out for, it's definitely teams with speed. Teams like Edmonton.
That's right.
A team that's 2-1 this point, and they haven't had that great of goaltending from Devin Dubnyk, but a lot of speed, and they played it. As we speak, they are playing Calgary, so we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
So
one more thing I want to mention about the Edmonton. Let's get on to a different topic. Nail Yakupov. There's been a little bit of a controversy about his goal celebration, sliding on his knees, going across center ice up to his blue line and laying down.
Yep.
It looked kind of strange because on one end of the ice, Yakupov's laying there so happy and filled with emotion that he scored, and on the other end, Jonathan Quick's laying down there embarrassed.
Yeah. To me, I think a lot of people are overreacting about this. I know that's not probably the best thing to say, but for me, I mean, the kid's young and he's showing enthusiasm. That's kind of what the league wants, is they want a lot of upside.
That's right. I think the league needs more of that raw emotion, that desire. I think it just sparks something as well if you're on home ice and like your home fans get to see their players kind of reacting in that way. I think it just kind of stirs up the crowd. And again, the game is supposed to be for the fans.
I think so, yeah.
So, that's enough of Hockey Talks this episode. I'm Tyler Sawatzky with my partner Jeremy Myer. We'll get back to you on Wednesday. See ya!